We have created the perfect system for ranking position groups. We have created 2 tiers. That's all you need.
Yeah.
2 tiers. Those 2 tiers, shit or not shit. Nothing else. There is no medium shit. There is no shit but showing promise. There's no not shit but could end up turning into shit. It is shit or not shit. Go watch the quarterback ones if you've missed it. I'm already clocking here that you wrote down a lot of the big name guys at the top of the list.
Well, I went just division by division.
Okay.
I feel like it's the easiest way to operate.
Let's do what we did last time for the AFC quarterbacks to start us off here. Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson both automatically go into the not shit category.
They're safe.
There is really not much discussion. You had a guy who rushed for 2,000 yards. You have Bijan, who is consistently the biggest weapon for the Falcons. They're the most intriguing running backs in the NFL, and there's other guys on this list that we're going to go through, obviously, but they were one of the few that were worthy of being drafted as high as they were, and they have lived up to those expectations. So they automatically they get moved into not shit.
I would agree. I was actually worried about this tier list because you like running backs, I like running backs, and it's different than quarterbacks because running backs, you don't have the ball in your hands. It's just run, catch, block. How do you do all those things? And I think most starting running backs in the league are pretty closely grouped in a not shit, but now that we have only 2 real categories to work with, it's going to get there's names on here that I'm not ready to go to war about, but we're going to have to, especially at the end.
The other thing that gets a little bit tricky now that I'm looking at this, there's a couple of guys in a couple situations where it's mixed carries, and I think I'll try to delineate who the primary guy is before we. Oh man, there are some guys here that this is going to be tough. All right, let's move on to another, I think, clear one. Josh Jacobs, I think, is a not shit running back. I know that he's been around for a bit. Mm-hmm. He's on his second team. He's had a really good stretch with the Packers. He's been very important for the Packers' offensive success thus far. So I think that, again, despite him really about to hit 30, really about to hit that final stretch of a running back's career where things start to fall off and they fall off they fall off hard. They fall off a cliff. Despite that, he belongs in the not shit category.
I'm fine with that. Josh Jacobs has been around, consistent, and he has been a player who, while he doesn't necessarily pop as a running back, he is not shit. He is a good running back. He is solid. You can count on him getting you 1,000 yards plus and being a vital member to the offense. So I am cool with Josh Jacobs, not shit.
I'm trying to think which.
I have one to pitch that I'm fine with. Kyren Williams, I'm happy to put in the not shit category.
Okay, good. I was looking down far on the list and I was wondering what direction you were going to go in. Yeah, I mean,
he gets in the end zone a lot. In the end zone a lot, and the way you win football games is scoring. I know he had a bit of a fumble bug.
Analysis.
Hey, look, we got to moneyball it. You win by getting on base. But Kyren Williams does that. He gets in the end zone, puts points on the board a lot. So I'm happy with him being not shit in the NFC.
Yeah, Kyren Williams for me is a guy that I think is just generally often disrespected. I feel like a lot of times whenever you see these off-season lists for free agency, for the draft, for team needs, for some reason running back is always listed for the Rams, which doesn't make any sense because Kyren Williams has been insanely productive over the last 2 years. Anytime you watch a Rams game too, it's man, they're just giving Kyren the ball and he looks gassed, but he is still just fighting and scratching and clawing for extra yards. He absolutely is in the not shit category.
And one of the best underdog stories in the NFL to come out of the mud in college. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. What? What do you mean come out the mud?
Made it out the mud.
You can elaborate?
Well, he was playing at a tragic program in college and then was able to, the brilliance of the Rams front office said, wow, despite all of these hideous things surrounding him, I know he can play ball, and he is showing that in the NFL. So I love Kyren Williams. It's a great story.
We're going to ignore that. Here's a tough one. Christian McCaffrey, 49ers running back. Is he shit or is he not shit?
Okay. I'm not trying to just start the just so I can hear the horn.
Right.
I don't want to hear the shit horn just because I want to hear it, or play it just because I want to hear it. This is a concern right now for McCaffrey. 2 calf injuries, needing to see specialists. But the question is shit or not shit, and not can he play or not play if he is healthy. So I'm leaning not shit, even though I think his career is done or very close to being done due to medical instances.
He had 15 receptions and 50 rushing attempts in 4 games last year. God, this is the real line really of demarcation, because Christian McCaffrey, when healthy, is arguably the best running back in the NFL.
Top 3, no one should even question.
Top 3 at the bare minimum. But the swirling rumors around his health and his eventual availability, it's super concerning. He's 28 years old. He's older than us, which is already off to a bad start.
That's a win for us, by the way. My calves still work.
By the way, one of the most handsome people I've ever seen in person.
Yeah?
Easily, without a doubt. At the Super Bowl, one of the most handsome people I've ever seen. His dad is big as shit, too.
He probably only had like an inch or 2 on you, right?
He was shorter than me. I'm not even joking. He was shorter than me. That's not a joke.
Christian McCaffrey
was shorter than me. He was a hair shorter than me. He's like 5'10". I'm not 5'10".
I always forget that. I always get your numbers mixed up.
What are my numbers?
I was sitting here thinking,
what are my numbers?
I was sitting here thinking Christian McCaffrey had to have been like 5'8" when you were saying he was shorter than you.
No, he's listed as 5'10", and I think at the combine. Wait a second, I'm gonna look this up. All right, so while I'm looking this up, can you help us decide this year? I think that he's not shit because we would be ultimate hacks, hence the name of the show. We would be ultimate hacks if we allowed for one injury-riddled year to make that decision for us. And if he comes back and he's completely fine this season, and maybe he doesn't have the same prolific MVP type of a year, he still ends up being really good and 1,000-yard rusher, we're going to look stupid.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ready to look stupid on a Christian McCaffrey. On Christian McCaffrey yet. The safe play is not shit, but in my gut, I'm saying my gut is telling me it's done. It is, but the fact that the 49ers got rid of Mason and they didn't feel the need to really address the running back room, maybe they have more confidence in McCaffrey. I'm fine with putting him not shit. If they had made big plays and a contingency plan for running back, then I would read that as they know it's over. But I don't think so. I'm cool with McCaffrey being in the not shit.
Yeah,
it's just smart. I'm fine with that.
Let's save relocating him to the shit category for if he theoretically falls off a cliff this season and he's just the same story, constantly banged up. He's going to Uruguay for a different specialist this time to find out what's wrong with his calf. And that will be the time when we officially give up on him. All right, Brian Robinson Jr. of the Commanders, which, I mean, I guess he's their starting running back still. Like he and Eckler still get some touches here and there. How would you line up?
You answered it. Because in a running back room where you have to qualify the starting running back as, I guess he's the starting running back, which is tough because he's productive and he can fall forward.
Is 799 yards productive?
They could use a better running back in Washington, and that makes
fine.
He's fine, but that doesn't mean he's not shit. Is that how I wanted to say that? Yeah, he's in the shit list.
The way that I would categorize this, if you are willing to project in an upcoming draft, or people were projecting the past draft, if you were willing to say they should consider taking a running back, that automatically puts you in the shit category. Brian Robinson, for me, feels like a guy who could be an awesome RB2, like an elite RB2. He's big, 6'1", 230. He's a big ass dude. He had a pretty good yards per carry average. He averaged 4.3 yards per carry this past year, but he's not a game changer.
Right.
He's not a guy that is going to rip off a big game-altering run. And I feel like in the modern NFL, these dump truck running backs like this that are expected to just pave their own lanes and run through people in short yardage, it's a nice commodity to have on the roster, but it's not something that you can build your run game around.
I have to think running backs, hard position, unique position. 32 that we're roughly 32 that we're going to have on these lists. I don't think Bijan Robinson Jr. is in my top 20. And if I thought 20 running backs were on the not shit category, then he's not in it. So I'm going to have to put him on the shit list. He's fine, good player, but when I have to qualify it. I have to keep qualifying him. So that puts him on the shit list.
Okay, my pitch for Tyrone Tracy, second-year running back for the Giants, 839 rushing yards, 5 rushing touchdowns. Also had 38 receptions and 284 receiving yards and a touchdown. Shit or not shit? For a rookie. We're talking about a guy who was a rookie last year.
I know, but he's not top 20. He's not in that echelon. He's a rookie. He did fine. But I thought he had 1,000 yards rushing. And then I hear 800. Ooh, tough.
He was 1,000 scrimmage yard guy.
That's good, but 1,000 scrimmage
he didn't start getting big touches until the second half of the year. Like, it wasn't until later on in the season when they realized that they couldn't go to, like, Devin Singletary as much as they were, that they had to start giving Tracy more touches. Here to put into context. Game 1, 2 carries. Game 2, 1 carry. Game 3, 5 carries. Game 4, 4 carries. Then he gets 18 in week 5, 17 in week 6. I think he was like a little bit banged up. No, he wasn't banged up, but he had a lot more opportunities to produce. In his first big game, he rushed for 129 yards. That doesn't mean anything.
He's a fine running back on a god-awful team, and he didn't make much of a difference for their wins. He played the position. He suited up at running back, and he got yards.
Stink.
Come on, Joe. Come on. We can't all be decked out with all the great talents like Atlanta does. Some teams struggle at the specialty positions.
All right.
So sorry, Tyrone Tracy, but
I'm lumping this all into one group, the Dallas Cowboys running back room. Javonte Williams, Jaden Blue, Phil Maffa also, Miles Sanders. Yeah, the whole group. Miles Sanders.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, the whole group's not good.
Yeah, that's any one of them. Whoever's starting. Excited to see what Maffa does. He's big and strong. Excited to see what Jaden Blue could do. He is quick, shifty, and I think can make linebackers miss. But unproven, and what they have right now and what we've seen in that room, it would be foolish for us to put them on the not shit list. So all of Dallas, vanish.
Yeah. And this is something that we talked about a couple of times during the offseason where it feels like they just decided to collect a bunch of guys who were mediocre and had like a couple of little nice spurts. Like, oh, hey, this guy might have a little bit of potential. And then they're also, most of them are incredibly banged up, especially Javonte Williams, Phil Maffa, who they drafted out of Clemson, incredibly banged up last year, dealing with a shoulder issue as a hard-nosed physical running back. I don't know what the recovery like that is. I don't know if that's something that he just gets, moves past and is fine. Jaden Blue is the one player I think who provides the most excitement, right? Because he's a spark plug. If he could end up being a player that just ends up, having a couple 50-yard rushing touchdowns, and we're talking about how he was one of the most underrated rookie running backs because the rest of the room sucks. He ends up taking over the Lions' share of carries. I could totally see that.
I could, but he would still probably be the 32nd best running back in the league. Like, Dallas's running back room is horrid and very well could be the worst. So I would almost want to call it the Dallas list, but that would actually give them too much credit because that means we're actually thinking about them more than we are.
All right, I'm going to set you up on this one, and I'm not going to provide the necessary context because I want to see where your head's at without knowing how this guy did last year. Aaron Jones Sr.
Oh,
shit or not shit?
Aaron Jones Sr. on the not shit list.
Okay, good.
Love me some Aaron Jones. I think that he is a phenomenal running back. I thought the pickup last year for Minnesota to grab him, stellar move. It was a great, crafty move. Green Bay thought they needed an upgrade. Aaron Jones was like one of their most consistent pieces on offense while he was there, and they said, oh, we could do better, and they're getting just about as much from Josh Jacobs, if not a little bit more. So lateral move by Green Bay, exceptional move by Minnesota to truly upgrade at the running back position. I love Aaron Jones. I think he's definitely a great running back.
He's another guy that's got a lot of mileage on him, so you kind of don't know when that drop-off hits, but quietly had 1,500 all-purpose yards last year, was one of the most productive running backs in the NFL. He had I had it right in front of me. He had 1,100 rushing yards. He had 408 receiving yards. He was insanely productive. He was a big reason for their offense being as good as it was. He was one of those fantasy football darlings that everybody wanted to have on the roster because he was going to catch a bunch of passes. He was going to have, it felt like, at least 60 yards rushing in a game. Yeah. You could always trust on Aaron Jones. I don't know if there's just not some random reality sets in. By the way, talk about a guy, reality. He needs to shave the head. Have you seen?
Oh, no, I love it.
You've seen his hairline.
Yeah.
His hairline's midway through his
hang
skull.
on, man.
It's like through the middle of his head. As a man who does not have a great hairline at the current moment, who's around the same age as him, you just gotta chop it off, man.
What are you talking
about? If
about?
I ever get to that point, I'm chopping it off. There's nothing more depressing than seeing a man that has a hairline that is halfway back past their head.
I don't know if it's
just call it in.
Situation. Look, I'm standing with my balding brethren. I am an ally. I will always be an ally to the gentleman of hair loss. It's not but that's just me understanding my privilege as someone that's never going to ever have to worry about that.
You don't know that. First of all, you don't know that. Second of all, when you see somebody who has a shit hairline and they get like a really good haircut around that really shit hairline, isn't the first thing you think of is you just look better if you shaved it all off.
Maybe he's got a weird head. Maybe he's got a weird lumpy head.
He does kind of have a weird head, but I would argue it calls more attention to the fact that he's got a weird head, that his hairline is so far back.
I like hat guys. I like bald guys that say, I'm just going to rock a hat. I'm going to start liking hats. I have no problem with that. That works for me.
But he needs to shave it and then do the hat bit.
He's an NFL player. I'm not going to tell an NFL player how to work with his own identity and ego, because it's always, there's the real person and then there's the football player. And most of the time, these guys are a little bit different. So to protect the football player, the person must make choices that may not be most beneficial to their actual image.
You know what we should do? We should do a Mount Rushmore of bald football players. I think that running back is a position where bald guys automatically aura goes up.
Fournette had tons of aura, and he
went bald early. Like he called it. He said, "We're done, mid-20s. We're just chopping it off."
Fournette shouldn't catch a stray, but yeah, Fournette would have been on the shit list. But he had great aura because he was bald.
Yeah, Tiki Barber, another guy. Trying to think some other bald running backs. Eckler's has had good aura. He's obviously much older now, but when he was spry and productive, and a juice god, he had the aura of being bald.
And it was bald. Well, at the end,
there you go. It's another one.
Hair for a while though. I'm not sure if I'm really did he? I don't know enough about Emmitt Smith to know if he had hair for the majority of his career, if he was bald for the more. Marshall Faulk.
Marshall Faulk, another guy who was bald. I was pitching this. I was breaking this down at the combine. I want my tight ends to have a receding hairline. I don't want them to shave it. I want the Brock Bowers.
There's a Brock Bowers influence there.
I had a coworker hear me talking about this, and he was very intrigued. So I think that I was onto something. And I think that running backs need to go bald. If you are like an inkling of a hairline movement, just shave it all off.
We can't be doing a tier list inside of a tier list here.
We're doing it. Well, that's what I started doing.
That's sitting in the pool on the cruise ship. That's what we're doing right
now. Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm saying that Jahmyr Gibbs is the number one running back for the Lions. Jahmyr Gibbs is obviously not shit.
Yeah.
But it helps that we can also say David Montgomery's also there in the conversation. Them as a group is the combined as one running back is maybe the best running back in the NFL.
Right.
If we morph them into one human being, it'd be the best running back in the NFL. You obviously can't do that. So Jahmyr Gibbs, automatically not shit.
Yeah. Both of them would make my not shit list. They're both very good. And they're working together is one of the more incredible. It's going to be a tandem that I look back on in 20 years and say, man, how did the NFL let these two guys play together for that tear? I mean, they're reviving Detroit football. Dan Campbell, whatever you want to say, you could say anything about Goff or Amon-Ra St. Brown or Jameson or Ben Johnson. No, it came from those running backs and that offensive line in Detroit on how they actually got things rolling in Motor City. I'll see myself out.
Here's a really generally perplexing one. DeAndre Swift, Chicago Bears running back. His career with the Lions to start was unproductive. It was quite underwhelming. Has a really nice year when he was moved to the Eagles, and then he gets pushed out for Saquon to come in. The rest is history. Has 1,000 yards that year. This past year, he averages 3.8 yards per attempt. He ends up having 386 receiving yards, so he ends up having over 1,000 scrimmage yards, 959 rushing yards, and 6 touchdowns. I will give DeAndre Swift a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here. And I'm this is not my pick, but I'm just pointing out that I'm a little uncertain on if he's shit or not shit, because the Bears offensive line last year was awful.
Sure.
It was awful.
Real bad.
He was 1,000-yard back when he was running behind the Eagles offensive line. That clearly helped him. So actually, maybe I just answered it for myself. He needed a good offensive line to rush for 1,000 yards. Therefore, that means he is shit because he needs the support of a good O-line.
Mm-hmm.
There it is.
That's fine. I'm not going to challenge you on that. If I were to, I would say that DeAndre Swift suffers from some of the same disease that Darren McFadden suffered from in the NFL, where just everything you want in a running back, the speed, the versatility, physicality, usage rate. He just didn't always make the right decision as a runner that could have propelled him to being a game breaker. DeAndre Swift leaves a bit too much meat on the bone as a runner for me. He is, and now we have a unanimous shit list tier player.
I think that's a really good. By the way, I was thinking about this earlier. What makes this whole concept, to peel back the curtain for a second, this concept's so great, none of it's consistent. None of it
shouldn't be.
We pitch,
but they're all different. They're all different, and they all work in different systems. It can't be.
We pitch so many different stupid qualifiers every single show for every single guy. It's the whole thing is arbitrary, which I think
also
makes it great.
if we wanted to do metrics based yards, touchdowns, every WAR. In NFL,
is that even a stat in the NFL?
I'm sure there's people that use it. Wins above replacement, how you do against the back, whatever.
I don't know if that's possible.
Whatever we want to do, it would make the list boring, because then we would just be technically talking about why they are not on the list, rattling off numbers and rationale, whereas we have at least different, at times, perspectives on the backs and their situations.
This makes too much sense.
I like the way that we do it, opposed to the boring. Well, we did the math, folks. Here's the information with no fluff. This is a show. It's all fluff. It's all fluff on this show.
It's the shit rating. It's got a 1 or a 0.
That's right.
Chuba Hubbard is a tough one. He rushed for 1,100 yards, nearly 1,200 yards last year. He had 10 touchdowns. He also had 171 yards receiving, 43 catches. He averaged 4 yards a reception. God, that is an awful average for yards per reception. It's like every time he caught the ball, he was getting tackled. I don't know. Chuba Hubbard's a tough one for me.
He's not for me, and I'll tell you why. And I will just briefly, for me, he is not tough because he had to be thrown to be almost in a Tyrone Tracy situation, become the de facto entire offense, while the quarterbacks are playing with their puds the entire season, with Bryce Young starting the year super, super rocky. All right, well, we got to lean on Hubbard. And then you have Andy Dalton come in, have a miracle 2-game stretch, and then it's back to leaning on Hubbard. Bryce Young finally starts getting right in the last 3 weeks of the season. Well, those other 7, we had to lean on Hubbard. That was the offense. He was just the de facto main target point in that off. Did I say de facto twice in this same spiel? Awful form. But he had to become the main focal point of the offense. That does not intrinsically translate into not shit.
You know what? Here's another thing, too, that we're actually forgetting with him. He didn't play the last 2 weeks of the season, and he still rushed for 1,200 yards. I don't know, man. I think his production was good enough last year. Behind Panthers fans will tell you they have a great offensive line. It's an okay offensive line. It was just a hair above average, and they think that they have a top 10 offensive line. I said that they should have drafted another tackle, and I was told by so many Panthers fans I was wrong about this, which was total bullshit. He had a couple big games this year, and I think it's really – here's why I'm going not shit. We were not given any opportunities to pay attention to anything Carolina did this year. They didn't get primetime games. It's just like how the Pistons – I don't know how much you were tracking the NBA this year. I was tracking I've been tracking it pretty closely this year, a lot more than I usually do. And when I would listen to, I had a couple podcasts in the rotation, the Athletics NBA show, the Ringers NBA show. And every time I would listen to it, they would both bring up the same thing where with the Pistons, they don't get any primetime games. So nobody knows how good they are.
Right.
And we got to see in the playoffs, they're like, hey, man, Kate Cunningham's like that.
Thompson's going to be legit for them.
The Panthers, I think, are like the Pistons are going to. The Panthers will be the Pistons this year. We don't know what they are. And Cade Cunningham, who everyone was like, is he really that good? And then now he finally lived up to the expectation of being the first overall pick. I think Bryce Young's going to do that.
Yeah.
And I say all this to say that we didn't really get a lot of opportunities to see Chuba.
I watched plenty of
production.
Chuba just destroyed Atlanta and their weak, soft-ass defense. He picked on the Saints. Joe, look at and if we are split here, just use your eyes. No other analysis. Shit or not shit point of the entire experiment. Chuba Hubbard fits with the shit opposed to the not. Just look at the names.
Wait. Okay. Now, man, this is the hardest one that we've had to do. And again, I say this for anyone who wants to hop in the comments and be a dickhead. Feel free to. I've never stopped anyone. I was bringing up my point about how we didn't see a lot of Chuba Hubbard in front of our faces or the Panthers in general. I'm saying this to say when I'm digging into his box scores because I didn't watch a lot of Chuba Hubbard this year.
And no one would blame you.
Right.
It's fine.
But here were his best performances. Week 3 against the Raiders, he had 114 yards. Bad defense. Week 4, 104 yards against the Bengals. Week 5, 97 yards against the Bears. Decent defense. Atlanta, week 6, 92 yards. Shit defense.
Yeah, real bad.
153 yards in week 10 against the New York Giants in overtime. 92 yards in week 13 against the Eagles, which is a pretty good performance. And then his last big game was in week 15 before he went out for the rest of the year, 152 yards against the Arizona Cardinals. So he's got a lot of, draining threes against the Wizards on his resume.
That's what he is, and it is great. But if the Carolina Panthers
we might spark out with controversy
played the Eagles, Chuba Hubbard might be limited to under 50 yards.
No, they did play the Eagles.
Oh, what did he get against the Eagles?
92.
Oh, God.
Wait,
Jesus.
Not yet, 92. But so, like, when he played Dallas, he only had 32 yards.
Yeah, he's on my shit. He's not in the air. He's not sharing. He's not, as a running back, breathing the same air that Bijan Robinson is or Jahmyr Gibbs is.
Fine, I'll let you take the heat for that one. Panthers fans know I tried to make the case. It is not on me. It is on.
And people
Sean's
love
head.
Chuba. They love. And Panthers fans love that.
I'll send you this guy's address if you need it.
No, sick puppy.
Alvin Kamara. This one's close to home for you.
Oh, yeah, he's not shit. Alvin Kamara, I think, has earned that. Now, has he earned it recently? And am I just going to start looking back at the 6-touchdown Christmas performance and retroactively just grandfather him into the not shit list? Kind of. I will kind of do that. But Alvin Kamara has been the Ferrari under the porch with a one-bedroom household that barely gets hot water. It's not been good in New Orleans. He has been the only true bright spot in his entire tenure. The entire time. Maybe Taysom Hill, because Taysom Hill has had a reduced role, but he's still exceeded expectations. You can't say the same thing about Olave. Mm-hmm. You can't say the same thing about Michael Thomas, who isn't there, who was supposed to be a franchise cornerstone. When it comes to Saints offense, he elevated the offense and then kept it at the maintaining running position of, I'm Alvin Kamara. I can get you 6 wins, 7 wins on my back alone. Lo and behold, they didn't have anything else to help him with his back. But he's a good enough running back to win a team 6 games. So Alvin Kamara, not shit list.
I just realized he's never rushed for 1,000 yards. Alvin Kamara has never rushed for 1,000 yards. Now, he has been arguably the best all-purpose back in his career. And he's 29 years old. I think that Kamara earns the right for how consistently dynamic he has been just as a weapon, as a receiver, as a running back, everything that he's been able to do for the Saints when they haven't had much. he has been the lone bright spot. So he automatically goes in the not shit category. You know how I know that we're a couple of hacks? We didn't write down the Derek Carr news in the notes for what we
Oh God, who cares? He's
golfing.
Oh,
what?
Yeah. And you know what? I had no animosity towards Derek Carr because Derek Carr, when he was at the Saints, was bad. So I didn't hate him like the way I hated Drew Brees, who was very good and made my team look bad. Derek Carr was so bad, I felt bad for him because everyone says how likable he is and how great of a man he is. Not just a football player, but as a man, a human being. I'm not going to outwardly root against that guy if he's also a bag of shit quarterback on the Saints. Yeah. And he's throwing a bunch of picks all over the place. He had 2 great weeks last year and then fell off a cliff. It was a comedy. So I love Derek Carr. I love him.
All right, well, so we won't spend time talking about him today. Here is one that I think is going to actually these last 2 are true ball knower ones. Okay, Bucky Irving, Buccaneers running back.
That's real tough. That's so tough. I am so ready to put him on the not shit list. I am so excited to do that because
don't make this mistake, Sean. Sean, so Bucky Irving is not shit. He was 6th in all-purpose yards this last year as a rookie.
Ready.
That is all you need to do for me.
Then put him on it.
Top
I'm cool.
10
I love
all-purpose yards, 1,600 all-purpose yards. He rushed for 1,100, and he had 392 receiving. One of the best running backs in the NFL.
He was great. I'm cool with Bucky Irving being in the not shit list. That's what a riser looks like. That's the difference of a riser, Bucky Irving versus Tyrone Tracy and Chuba Hubbard. Like that should be my benchmark for young running back in the league to make the list.
This is another real ball knower one because I don't think anyone pays attention to the Arizona Cardinals to know how productive this player was last year. Don't look up his stats. James Conner.
Dude.
You better be careful with this one.
I know I need to be careful.
James Conner's not shit, man.
I just played. That's almost like a warning horn.
14th in all-purpose yards. He was a 1,000-yard rusher, 400-yard receiver, 1,500 total yards from scrimmage. That is with an erratic, frustrating quarterback who's throwing him the ball.
Yeah.
And an inconsistent offensive line blocking for him. I think that James Conner might be one of the most underrated running backs in the NFL. Now, he might end up getting, at some point, snuck from behind on by Trey Benson, but everyone thought that was going to happen last year, and it didn't come to fruition. James Conner just reminded us, hey, he's still good. He's still tough as shit. He's still always available. So I think he's not shit.
All right, you're selling me. I'm kind of looking at it from the perspective that I gave Kamara. I think James Conner played a lot of that role also in Arizona. I'm fine. He's a great bubble. He's a very good running back. He runs hard. Fantastic after contact, actually, where he just keeps going and churns out first downs. He's reliable, bell cow, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, not shit. I'm fine. I will give you a passionate James Conner, not shit.
All right, this one I think is pretty easy. Kenneth Walker. I'm sticking him in the shit category. He had such a promising start to his career. He rushed for 1,000 yards as a rookie, and then it has just been a slow regression due to a lack of availability. He hasn't been very dynamic as a receiver. He's kind of hovered around 200-300 yards, and last year he only rushed for 573. I feel like Kenneth Walker's kind of on his way out of Seattle, and then eventually is going to just be one of those guys that you hear like, oh, said team picked up Kenneth Walker, and he's the second running back.
Yeah, the Kenneth Walker impact on football as a whole will be felt for generations. The ripple effect that he had by going to Michigan State, that led to everything. But he is on the shit list right now. He just is. If you would have caught me after his rookie year, I would have died on the table putting him in not shit. I would have got on the table and screamed and ripped my shirt open and said, this guy is the next all-pro running back of the league. And it has not transpired as such, unfortunately.
He's just one of those guys that's like super compact. He's 5'9", he's 210 pounds, and it just kind of feels like the wear and tear of all the touches he got in college has just caught up to him.
Yeah.
And now Charbonnet's feels like he's the main back. And I know that they just added Damian Martinez. Who the hell knows what's happening with that running back room? Yeah, it's kind of sad to see the fall off of Kenneth Walker. All right.
It could be a good running back room, though.
I know. It's deep. It's diverse. It's unique. But it's just a bunch of guys that don't really live up to expectations constantly. I hope Damian Martinez kind of emerges, but I heard that his knees are in some rough shape, apparently.
You need those for the running back position.
Yeah.
That's tough.
That's like almost, like needing a head too. Tell me a running back's got bad knees. That's always a massive red flag. All right.